Hello, I noticed something about Black Myth Wukong final trailer, so let's talk about it, because I watched some other videos where they seem to have some information that is not entirely accurate, at least not according to my interpretation. Now, the first thing we notice is the music here. So right away we'll notice, obviously, it sounds like something like an incantation or chant or something like that, and we find out what it is that this is called the Wang Sheng Zhou, meaning the zhou, incantation of death, Wang Sheng, death or rebirth. So basically, it's an incantation that usually is spoken or read out loud when somebody dies, when people are helping the dead to pass over to the other world. Now, usually in Buddhism, it would be the 极乐世界, so like the world of infinite happiness. You know, why is that music here? Why is this particular incantation in the trailer? And maybe something to do with somebody is dying. Now, who is dying exactly? Could it be Wukong that's dying? Could it be Tang Seng that's dying? Could it be somebody else that's dying? It must be somebody important here, I feel like. Or it could just mean rebirth. So somebody was reborn. Could it be Wukong that was reborn? Could it be somebody else that was reborn, right? So we're not entirely sure. At least I'm not entirely sure what it means. Now, who is this particular character? Now, this character, I believe, I watched some videos, somebody saying this is Tang Seng. I don't think so. I don't think this is Tang Seng because usually he is not depicted with this particular outfit and he is not depicted with this gigantic gourd on the back. I personally believe this character is somebody called 铁拐李. So this character right here, 铁拐李. Now, why do I think that's the character? Because 铁拐李 is usually depicted with a fairly sizable gourd on the back. And the character is a very important character in Taoism, where he is one of the 8 gods, I guess like the founding gods of Taoism or something like that. And inside the gourd, there are medicines. So he is somebody that does a lot of healing, helping people. So maybe it has something to do with the incantation of death or rebirth. Maybe player character, obviously, who is not Wukong, is helping this 铁拐李 going somewhere to help save somebody. Maybe. And also what we'll notice is that he is, in some depictions, wearing a similar circlet as the Wukong would before. Now, this circlet just means basically a way to remind ourselves or remind the person that you are still need to abide by the laws, the morals and things like that. So it helps remind ourselves, hey, we still need to follow the rules, we need to be a good person. So in one of the older trailers here, we can see here in the trailer we have this golden circlet, which could look something like that. And also, but it seems to be picked up by somebody who looks like a much older version of Wukong. Right, he is much older here. But again, in the story of Journey to the West, he has achieved godhood, and he also had struck his name out of the Book of Life and Death, so he shouldn't really be aging, or it shouldn't be possible for him to die. So, but this could, I think, symbolize 铁拐李, this guy here. Maybe it's his circlet, I'm not sure about it, but I feel like this character here is 铁拐李. 铁拐李is also related to Taishan Laojun, who constructed Wukong's stick. So 铁拐李 is Taishan Laojun's disciple. And so in the game, he's acting like a guide to Wukong, telling him what to do. And then at the end of the trailer here, we can see him talking to Wukong. Now, in the Chinese version, he said 那怪, so that monster. 黑毛赤尻, meaning black furred and red buttocks. 面向奸顽, meaning face looks scheming and devious. It's similar to what was translated in the English trailer. And they were talking about the circle of fire here, sort of preventing the monster from coming in. And Wukong did seem to have a skill like this in the Journey to the West TV shows, where he built a circle around Tang Seng to prevent monsters from capturing Tang Seng. So in this landscape, this is Milafu. So he is the future Buddha. Seems to be the location where we have the fight with the fake Buddha. So around here we can see the player character here is fighting with the fake future Buddha, and it seems to be sucking the player character into some sort of a portal or something like that. Now, in the Journey to the West, he did seem to possess a piece of gear. It's like a sack that can suck in infinite amount of things. But here it seems like a little bit more related to something to do with maybe a different timeline. Like we're looking at like a different story or going back to the future or in the past to kind of change things, to do something there. Because I still want to talk about this because it seems like we can see the player character going into a painting of some sort. So we can see here in the background, it is like a painting. Perhaps we're going into a different location, going into the story, like physically actually going into a story and changing something in the past and changing the story, changing what happened there. So we can see here in this trailer, this character here just finished painting one of the paintings. So I would assume this character here, we believe is called Lan Cai, who is again one of the 8 gods of Taoism. So he is making these paintings on what seems like walls. Is he leaving these paintings around? Is this the painting we're going into? Are there different paintings in the world where we can go in and change the story and change the past and change what happened? Would there be player choice where we can perhaps create different pasts and that would result in different futures, different stories, different endings? I don't know, hard to say, but it looks something like that. So I believe in one of the videos that we're talking about like fast travel and stuff, maybe it could be simple as that, but it could be more complex, or it could be, it's a story piece where one of the NPCs is telling the story of Journey to the West or a version of the story, and we're going in here changing what's happening in the story, changing what happened in the past, therefore changing the future. There's something to do with death, perhaps different cycles. And again, it seems to have a little bit more of exploration of the philosophies of Taoism and the philosophies of Buddhism, more than say just a story. What does life and death means? Maybe something to do with facing infinite life. Even though having infinite life seems great, perhaps it's not as good as one thinks, but it seems to be a deeper exploration into the philosophies. And here we have a very popular moment where we can see Wukong fighting the 4 Heaven Kings. I'm not sure why he's fighting them, or is it the player character that's fighting them, or is it Wukong that's fighting them? Because we did get a trailer where we saw a moment Wukong was fighting the 4 Heaven Kings. So here we see this moment here. We see perhaps this is the real Wukong. It could be the player character. Again, not entirely sure. It seems to be he is facing off against the 4 Heaven Kings. Is this the same moment as what we saw in the trailers? I don't. It's hard to say. But in the story of Journey to the West, 4 Heaven Kings were sent down from the heavens to capture Wukong for the 2nd time or 3rd time before he was entrapped under the mountain by Rulai. So I'm not sure if it's the same moment or it's a different moment or whatever. And then we also saw that in this particular pre-order trailer here. And I do believe this is actually the player character and not the real Wukong. Don't see a reason why they would be fighting against Wukong, because they seem to be on the same side after Wukong have decided to become a better monkey. And speaking of life and death, I do believe we were reminded of this particular trailer here, this moment right here. So here, I think we talk about entering this cycle. There's no easy way out. It won't be so easy to get out. I'm not sure. And this is spoken by the fake Milofo. Does that mean we're entering a different timeline? Or we just keep going in the cycle? Has there been more than one player character? More than one distant one? Was there more than one Wukong? Did we all come through here? Did the other ones die? It's like it's a very. I'm not sure if again, am I reading too much into it, or is this something? I feel like there has something to do with life and death, the cycle of life. Did we have other player characters that realize we're trapped in this cycle, or are we the same one that's trapped in this cycle multiple times? Is it like the Matrix deal where you wake up and this is not the real world, this is not the true timeline? I don't know. Again, maybe I'm just reading too much into it. And then we have another cool moment that I really, really like during the fight right here, where Wukong uses his transformation skills to transform into a tree to hide from the monster, instead of just always fighting all the time. Could this be a mechanic that we need to use for like a stealth gameplay? Could there be like a pacifist gameplay, like Elden Rings or whatever other games where you can choose not to even fight, you can win another way or get to what you need to do another way, a pacifist way. Could that mean a different story? Could that result in a different ending? I'm not sure. But I think overall the game is much more philosophical than one would imagine, and the whole fighting and the whole mechanics and it seems like it's going to be diving into a much deeper exploration of Taoism, the connection between Taoism and Buddhism and all of that stuff, and really make us question a little bit more about our lives. And I hope that's the case, because it seems like whatever the game devs are doing, they're putting in a lot of hard work in here, and they really wanted to make the game really, really good. And I hope the game comes out really good. And again, I don't really care about the gameplay all that much. It seems like the gameplay is really good, but I'm more interested in the philosophical side, the more story side. With me being able to read Chinese and understand some of the Chinese, I think we'll have a better experience. And I'll be sure to play the game when the game comes out. So that's about it. Do you have any comments? Do you have any ideas? Did I get something wrong? Feel free to leave it in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.